Hey guys, this is Red and Blue, your channel on YouTube for all things PSG in English. Please subscribe. Today, let's talk about PSG Angers. This is our next game in Ligue 1 to be played tomorrow as I'm recording this. So Friday night Paris time, 8:45 p.m. In the Parc des Princes. We're back at home. Our first game at home of the season. Very exciting. And I think, following the win in the first day against Nantes, we expect the team to continue ramping up in terms of fitness. We expect a lot of turnover, a lot of changes, a lot of players trying to get some playing time, and an opposition team in Angers, which is quite interesting in a way because they managed to win their first game, but they do have a lot of gaps in their squad, both in terms of players missing, injured, suspended, whatever it might be, but also in general, let's not kid ourselves. This isn't tier one Ligue 1 opponents, so yeah, it should be an interesting one. I think my thoughts on this game in terms of starting 11 first. When it comes to PSG, I expect a lot of changes versus the teams that played in Nantes. And I think so far what we've seen Luis Enrique do is that he played almost like a starting 11, like regular starting 11 for the game against Tottenham. And then 4 days later against Nantes, he rotated a lot. Since the Nantes game, we had 6 days. And so I do expect our starting 11 to be featuring again. And I think in details, I expect Lucas Chevalier in goal. I expect Nuno Mendes, Pacho, Marquinhos, and Hakimi in defense. In midfield is really where I've got slight question marks in terms of who plays and who doesn't. Warren Zaire-Emery has had a lot of playing game, so is he going to feature again? Vitinha has had a lot of playing games. Both players featured in both Tottenham and Nantes game, so I do expect them to rotate. Kang In Lee did well against Tottenham, not so well against Nantes, so where does that leave him? Fabian Ruiz, is he getting up to fitness? Will Doué be played in midfield again? So I think there's a few uncertainties there. What I would say, and this is just my opinion and my personal bet, I would say Joao Neves is going to feature. He's back from suspension, so I do expect him to start. I do expect Fabian Ruiz to start as well, and I do expect Kang In Lee to start. That will be my starting midfield, and I would say probably in this context, Fabian Ruiz playing as number 6, so playing the Vitinha spot, and Joao Neves playing on the left. There's a lot of flexibility there, so the starting position might change throughout the game. Players are going to move around, so I don't think it matters that much. I think, ultimately, both Fabian Ruiz and Joao Neves last season have played in this number 6 position. So either one of them can take it. Kang In Lee, technically, I would expect him to play more on the upper right side of the midfield, which is typically Joao Neves' position. So I don't know. There might be a few switches around. We'll have to see how it comes to life. And then in attack, I expect Gvara on the left, Dembele up front, and Desiré Doué on the right. So we're really looking at Barcola getting some time on the bench because he also played a lot. Gonzalo Ramos, I expect he'll get some minute and come on the pitch around the 60th minute, but I don't expect him to start. And I think Mbaye, same thing, is gonna get on the bench for this one. And we'll see, because obviously all depends on the level of fitness that the players are at. So Joao Neves, for example, is he really up to starting and playing 60 minutes or even 45 minutes? Or does he need to start on the bench and get on at the 60th, 70th minute and do the end of the game? It's possible as well. Vitinha, who's played both games, is he further ahead in terms of fitness, and so he could start already? Zaire Emery as well. Do we want to see him again in midfield? So there's always a few uncertainties. We never really know with Luis Enrique anyway, what kind of starting 11 is going to start. And I think in this context of us doing our preseason with the league having already started, it adds another layer of of doubts that, quite frankly, I have to acknowledge. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I know exactly who's gonna play and who's not. It's it might very well be completely different from what I think. I think it does make a lot of sense because like you don't want the starting 11 to go essentially like 2 weeks without starting a game, because our next game is going to be weekend after this one, so in essentially 10 days at this point. And so that'd be a very, very, very long time for them to not start a game and not get some decent game time. Obviously, yeah. So I do expect our starters to feature. I do expect them as not a lot of changes, like 4 changes on the 60th minute, changes that be planned in advance. And in that context, I would expect João Neves to get off at this point if he starts the game. I would expect Dembele to get off at this point if he starts the game. I would expect potentially like Fabian Ruiz to get off the pitch at this point. Nuno Mendes as well could get off. So there's a few potential substitutions that you can kind of forecast already in a way. And yeah, it just goes on to show that the point of the game, obviously we want to win it. It's a league game, it's a competitive game, but the point is really to continue ramping up and managing the playing times, managing the fitness level of our players. So that's what we've got on the Paris side. On the Angers side, so there's quite a lot of uncertainty, like I said. First, in terms of their dynamics, they did win their first game of the season at home against Paris FC 1-0. They managed to score an early goal, I think around the 9th minute, by their star striker, Le Paul. And then they sat in defense. They actually got a red card, player sent off at the 57th minute, one of their midfielders. So they did sit back and kind of let Paris FC try to take control of the game. And ultimately, Paris FC was unsuccessful at breaking down their defense. They weren't very realistic in terms of their offense. And so Angers managed to squeeze by with the win, 1-0. But, with a 30% possession at home. So really sitting deep, pass completion, which was a pretty dreadful ratio, not a lot of passes attempted. So all of this is really like, not giving the signals of a very strong team. And I think, last season they finished, I want to say 14th in Ligue 1. So they were really like not that far above the line of relegation. And, for PSG, we beat them 4-2 in Angers towards the beginning of the season. And essentially we were beating them 4-0 until they scored 2 goals in the extra time of the second half. And then like, on the return in Parc des Princes, we beat them 1-0. So 1-0 only, but it's a game that we thoroughly dominated. And that was, it's a game that was, I think, 3-4 days before the first game against Aston Villa. So the first leg of the quarterfinal of the Champions League. And it is the game that made us champion as well. So there was a lot of things going into it. We dominated the game. We got the win. Players were probably already thinking about Aston Villa. So yeah. And so, in this context, I expect us to be dominant, fitness set aside. No reason we beat Nantes in Nantes and we can't beat Angers in Parc des Princes. You never know. Obviously, you got to be cautious with those things, and nothing is written in advance in football. But yeah, like, I'm feeling pretty good about this. And yeah, when it comes to their starting 11, so they're going to be playing Kofi in goal, who's probably like their substitute goalkeeper. At least he wasn't their starting goalkeeper last season. They're going to be playing a line of 5 in defense, so central back 3 of Camara, Arcus, and Lefort, which is the same line that played against Paris FC. They're going to have 2 fullbacks in Raoul Issoa and Anan. And Anan, who is playing on their left, on the left of their defense, is a player who's like, I think he's 38 years old or something like this, 35, 38 years old. And the guy who's going to be playing next to him in midfield, same thing, older, like 32. So in midfield, like, likely Capel might come in the team. He's the one who would be replacing the guy that got sent off in the previous game, with Belkebla next to him. Question mark on this one. He's their captain and he's a key player for them, but he was a little bit injured at the beginning of the week and missed training on Tuesday. So we do have a little bit of doubt in terms of whether he would play or not. So yeah, their midfield might be a little bit desolated as well. And then up front, we've got Belgdim and Sheriff, who would play like one level down from Le Paul, who's their star striker, might be on his way out because Rennes is interested and has made an offer. But Le Paul is the one who scored in the first game, and he actually did score against us last season as well. So, decent player, decent Ligue 1 player. So yeah, what I'm seeing in this, like I said, I think the key point is that all of the left side of their defense / midfield is all substitutes and old men or both. And so, that's why I was thinking like we probably have to play Kang In Lee for this game, because it feels like this is an area of the pitch where we're going to get opportunities. And if I have a Doué with his technicity, making run at the defense, starting to dribble and really like create stuff, Kang In Lee, who with his left foot can change the game, shoot from afar, combine, is quite technical for all of his fault, and so on. And then Hakimi playing and running into the area like he does, expanding the game towards the touchline, coming inside as well. That's a lot of opportunities in this area, versus like a lineup of players who's not the fittest, not the youngest, not the best. So that's really for me a key area of the game. Where, quite frankly, we've got an opportunity to make a lot of differences. Even Dembele, if he plays as a false nine, he's going to be drifting into this area as well. He might switch position with Doué at some point. So wouldn't be surprised to see him go this way as well. And I think, quite frankly, I expect Angers also to sit deep in defense, not contest possession. They didn't contest it when they were at home against Paris FC. So then sure as hell not going to contest it in Parc des Princes against us. And what we've seen last season is that while they do have, they've played quite a few times a sort of park the bus with a line of 5 at the back and midfielders coming in very close to the defense, and even the line of 2 offensive midfielders / attackers coming down as well. They're not the most solid of defenses. And last year, I went back and looked at the highlights from the 4-2 win in Angers. Honestly, the spaces that we managed to find in the defense, and honestly, that game I was giggling a little bit because it was Asensio playing, Kang In Lee had a brace, so crazy things by PSG standards. So yeah, I do expect us to be able to find some space in this defense, even if they play very low and try to park the bus. I expect us to be able to combine. I'm hoping us finding a little bit more fitness helps take out some of the technical mistakes that we saw in the game against Nantes or in the game against Tottenham for that matter, and that we start playing a little bit more smoothly. The passes are a little bit more cutting, the runs as well, and so on and so forth. And so we do find that little bit extra, which takes us over the top and gives us the win. So yeah, for this, the other thing I wanted to mention is that the striker, because it is a bit of a question mark. He's a decent player, 25-year-old. He's worth about 10 million. It's funny, Rennes made an offer about that price, and Angers apparently is asking 25 million for him. So I know, the mercato for striker has been completely bonkers this year, but honestly, he's not worth 25 million. He's a decent striker. We'll have to be a bit mindful of him. But at the same time, we should have, if we play Pacho and Marquinhos, or like honestly for that matter, like even Zabarni, Beraldo, I'll be very, very comfortable with us like being able to take him on. But just let's be a little bit mindful, because he is a strong player on their team, and he is able to conjure like moments of quality striking, and able to score some goals. So let's not get into a scenario where we don't have control of the game. I think more than anything, and like I know like this sounds like Luis Enrique, but like I want the team to be in control, get control of the ball, push them back towards their goal, have them sit in defense. We can be patient, we can like move the ball around. We don't need to score within 5 minutes, even if I'd love for that to happen. We've seen against Nantes that, and against Tottenham even more, that we do have the patience and we do have the ability to decide the game towards the end of it. We can like bring people from the bench. I imagine like, if at the 60th minute we bring in Barcola, we bring in Vitinha, we bring in Ramos. There is talent on this bench. There will be talent on this bench that can definitely like get winning goals late in the game if necessary. And those players might be slightly more match fit than the ones that we might be starting. So yeah, we'll see. I think it should be like I'm going to say a relatively entertaining game, because on one end, I don't expect much from Angers, but I think, if PSG get a goal early, it could very easily turn into a rout. And, it could go into a 3-4-0 kind of situation where like, yeah, our attackers get going. We push them back, and we just dominate the game and run all over them. Yeah, that's that point of weakness on the left side of their defense. Honestly, like it feels like a given. It feels like, honestly, like you push Hakimi, Kangin Lee, and Doué in that space, with Dembele drifting in. Man, like that's a lot of firepower to come at like one of their bad spots. And yeah, ultimately, like even Paris FC, who just got promoted last week, like they did create a lot against Angers. They weren't very realistic. They missed a lot of shots. They didn't have their shots on target. Obviously, they were 11 against 10, so that helped them. But yeah, it's not a super strong Angers team. So hopefully we get away with it win. Cool. I'm gonna leave it there. Just one last thing is my prediction for this game. It's really like I think I said the same thing last week, but it's really, really hard to predict this game not knowing our level of fitness, and consequently not being able to know what our starting 11 might be. So that has a big impact. I said on balance, it could be a wide win if the right set of ingredients actually happen. I'm gonna predict a 2-0 win, so slightly more realistic and slightly more low-key, and very much in line with what we had against Nantes. I don't see them challenging us in terms of their offense and our defense, so I don't see them scoring. When for us, I do think we have the potential to do so. It could be wider. It could be just a 1-0. It could be a draw. Honestly, like it depends on the starting 11 and the fitness. But I do think we've got what it takes to score a couple of goals and just take it easy and have like a relatively easy game. So that's going to be my prediction for this. Very decisive, as you can see. I've got a very strong opinion on this one. But I'm going to say 2-0. Don't bet on this. Like don't quote me. I'm not paying back your bets, guys. So I think keep the money on your pocket on this one. Cool. So anyway, match day tomorrow night, French time. PSG Angers in Parc des Princes, 8:45. Please drop a like on this video if you agree with me. Let me know what you think of the game and what's your expectations from it. And yeah, as always, like please subscribe to the channel. Honestly, massively helps. Click on the bell to get notified. And yeah, don't forget, in Angers or not, ici c'est Paris.